No, not just yet. We're starting the conversation, please. At the end, okay?
Right after we finish.
Hello?
Yeah, we know, but right after we finish, please, have a seat.
Hello?
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
I always start with the beginning. You come from a medical family. Did you ever dream of this particular career growing up?
No. First of all, both my parents are physicians and they're both doctors, and I knew that I didn't want to do that. I knew that I didn't have the courage to do that. I think that, you know, people in the medical profession have a really, really noble job. It's a very difficult job to have someone's life in your hands, and you know, I didn't have the courage for it. But I was kind of pushed towards the arts naturally, and I'm really glad it became my career.
Well, obviously you won the Miss World pageant and Bollywood came calling. How do you reflect on that time? Were you ready for it? And what were the initial challenges of, you know, being kind of thrown into a Bollywood career?
I mean, just think about it. Is anybody 17 here?
I don't think they're allowed.
All right, we can pretend that we are.
Remember when you were 17?
Yeah,
6 months ago.
Yeah, exactly, for me. Think about when you were 17 years old and I was representing my country and I was sent to this pageant, Miss World, and there was 96 other girls there from different countries. Nobody thinks that you're gonna win.
Yeah.
But when I won, I turned 18 and it was extremely intimidating. I don't come from a film background. I didn't have anybody in the industry. And this is 2000, so like 25 years. 25 years ago almost.
I think you were 6 though, you were
Yeah,
6.
you're right. But you know, it was a long time ago and I think it was just intimidating and I think I was just trying to not lose. You know that feeling where you're pushed into something and you just don't want to make a fool of yourself? You just want to survive, you just want to keep your head above water. And I had to learn everything new. I didn't know what movies were about, I didn't know how it felt to say your lines, and I was working with really prolific actors at that time, like Sunny Deol and like Akshay Kumar, and you know, people who I had seen growing up, and I was working against them, I was opposite them. So it was very, very intimidating, but that's the one thing that I've realized over time that I'm good at is I just learn very quickly. I adapt. My dad taught me to try and be like water. My parents were in the military, so we moved every 2 years to a different city. And my dad used to always say, just be like water. Water takes the shape of anything. You know, whatever you put it in a glass, you put it in a vessel, it takes the shape of that. As human beings, you know, we have to continually evolve and just be like water. And that really helped me through my career. And all I focused was on today has to be excellent. Let me make today excellent. I'm not going to be overwhelmed by tomorrow. And I still live like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're very good when given a challenge. You know, you think on your feet.
I do. I'm a solution-oriented person. When I think of a challenge, I don't think of the problem. I think of the solution of how we can, what can come out of it. You know, every hurdle, like in acting, we say, and I don't know how many of you are aspiring actors, but in acting, every hurdle is an opportunity. So when you're doing a scene and, I don't know, your co-actor says the wrong line or, you know, something, a glass falls or something, you don't stop acting. You use that. You use that into making it a little bit more interesting. And I feel like life is a little bit like that too. Whenever an obstacle comes your way, you have to, I'm a very God-fearing person and I really believe that, you know, God has a plan for each one of us. So I don't like fighting the universe. I kind of like look at opportunities and I always try to find a solution, or I always try to find a silver lining or a positive that comes out of it. It's tough, but with practice, you can do it.
For sure. Aitraaz was your first high recognition in your career when you were still in India. Tell us about preparing for it and taking risks for it.
Have any of you seen Aitraaz? Oh, thank you. Okay, then I can talk about it because you know the movie.
They know all movies.
I was, again, very young. I was like 21 or something. I don't even think I understood the material, honestly. But all I knew was that this was a very challenging part, and I have to be convincing in it. And that's the first time I actually learned a very important lesson in my career, which is that I should not judge my characters. So as an actress, I play many different kinds of women, right? Like different kinds of people. But if I start judging what those people do, I can't play them authentically. And that was a very important lesson that I learned during Aitraaz, and it has served me, and it's given me the ability to do so many different kinds of roles with variety, because I don't judge them. You know, I'm true to what the woman I'm playing is doing. And Sonia was a very smart, manipulative woman who was ambitious and knew what she wanted, and went and got it. So I went and got it too.
Has anyone seen Krrish? I'm asking, I know, I'm just asking.
I like to ask.
Exactly. So that one as well, big blockbuster movie with a lot of visual effects. At the time, did you feel that it was groundbreaking?
Oh, definitely. I think we were building one of India's first superheroes at that time. We've had, like, in the past, we had Shaktiman, we had like a few, characters which were superheroes for sure, but Krrish was being built as India's answer to, our superhero. And I was just so excited to be considered to do the movie. And again, very funny that Rakesh Roshan, who's the director of Krrish, when he was casting the girl in the movie, he saw me at a funeral once, and I was wearing a white salwar kameez. And now he tells me this story later, I didn't know that at the time. I was wearing a white salwar kameez, and he said he identified me at that funeral. And then he asked,
the right place.
I know, right? I was like, who thought you'd get discovered at a funeral? An opportunity can knock in any form, right? Exactly. So he asked filmmakers, Abbas Mastan, I was filming for Aitraaz that time, and he asked the filmmakers, Abbas Mastan, to show him some dailies, some rushes. And I was terrified that I will never get the role, because the Priya in Krrish was this super innocent, like, just not worldly, has, believes in the goodness of people kind of person. And Sonia in Aitraaz was the complete opposite. She would eat you alive, she was a black widow. So I was so afraid. I called Abbas Mastan and I said, please don't show him the interval scene, please don't show him this scene, that scene. And of course he saw exactly those scenes and cast me. And then later I asked him, I was like, how could you see me in that character and cast me for this character? And he said, I wasn't looking at the character you were playing, I was just looking at how authentic you were in your scenes, and you're an amazing actor, and I knew you could play anything else. So that's how he cast me.
And this is how you get into an eclectic, diversified careers.